fight for black women. But while we may come as ones, we stand as 10,000. We stand as 100,000. We stand as millions of people around the world who want to see Brittany Griner free. I have the distinct honor of having many conversations with Brittany's wife, and the pain of what is happening to her family, the uncertainty, and also not being able to communicate with her is something that's truly inhumane. I learned that someone mentioned in one of our conversations that at one point Brittany's cell was not necessarily tall enough for her to stand in. And when I saw her on TV yesterday, I realized she's a real tall woman. And she would have to be accommodated in a special way. Even in my own home, I'm not sure that she would be comfortable because of her height, which has been used by America and Russia for their own pleasure.
Come on, man.
To win basketball games.
Come on.
They used her in many ways, exploited the work of a black woman, but are not in this moment doing enough as far as we're concerned to bring her home. Brittany needs to be with her wife and her family. She has parents who may not be here today, but they are hurting. Her sister, childhood friend who is her sister, is here with us. She came from Texas overnight to be here to stand with those of us who would pray for Brittany as the trial is set to begin. I want to give her the opportunity to speak, but I want us to understand that this is real. This is a real person. It's not just a conversation about two countries, maybe communicating, maybe not. We don't know much of what's going on, but we cannot sit by and just assume that either country is doing what is necessary to get Brittany home.
That's right.
Unfortunately, America, our country, where we stand today, has not proven itself to be reliable in standing up for black women. We have been left too many times by the sideline. And to think that now, even after just last Saturday, where the U.S. Embassy forgot to put someone on the telephone when they knew that Brittany would be trying to contact her family after 4 months of not speaking. And they said they did not have anyone. They forgot that it was happening on a Saturday. You can't forget Brittany. But that is why we are here today.
Right.
And why we will not stop, so that they never forget. So that they are constantly reminded. And so that we make it very clear that while we may be here today praying outside of the Russian consulate so that their hearts and minds will be touched, we depend on and demand that America be responsible for bringing Brittany Griner home, no matter what we have to do. Brittany Griner is valuable. She means something to us. She matters to black women, and she best matter to the administration that sits in Washington with the ability and the resources to do what is necessary for black women. It is one thing to appoint a black woman as vice president, which we appreciate. It is another to fight for a black woman to become the Supreme Court justice. Those things are great. But it is something else to get in the mud with us and fight for black women who are being disenfranchised, who are being harmed, and someone who we know victimized.
That's right, victimized.
Victimized, and being held. Monetized. Give me some more words. Victimized, monetized, and dehumanized, brutalized, and even tortured. Unfortunately, it is torture to sit in a prison in this country, let alone in a different country where you can't see your family or speak to your family, and you do not know the fate of what is going to happen to you. I saw her. I looked in her eyes. I don't know Brittany Griner. But I looked in her eyes, and when I saw the fear and the pain, it made me even more determined to stand for that black woman, because I would hope that all of you would stand for me if I found myself in a similar situation.
Amen.
Let's hear from Janelle Ray, who is going to speak on behalf of her family.
I just want to thank everybody, of course, for being here today, for the support, for the love for my family and I. We know, obviously, my sister, everything starts on Friday, right? We've already known that she still has 6 months, no matter what. For everybody else, it seems like one thing. For me, February 17th was the day, the last time I talked to my sister. I haven't been in communication with her. I haven't been able to talk to her. And it hurts, right? You think about something like that and somebody like that, your best friend, your sister. I knew her on February 17th as a person. Who she comes out when she leaves Russia, I don't know who she is. You sit somewhere that long, it messes with your mental health, right? It changes you. You never know what you're gonna do. You never see your family. You can't talk to anybody. It hurts. We know that Russia has a 99% conviction rate. The only thing that we're asking as a family is that the administrations come together and work out something to let my sister come home. That's the only thing that we're asking, is that my sister be back in the story of the United States for where she played. She was an Olympic gold medalist. So, like I said,
tell them about her resume.
Olympic gold medalist, All-Star championship. So I just want to thank everybody again for the support from my family and everybody else. And y'all have been tremendous. Like I said, you know, you never know who you're gonna get home when you come back and you see something like that for so long. So, and for her mental health, for the love and the grace of God, we're just praying that something will happen and something will change.
And you're a lifelong friend, Hope, is that right?
Yes.
Lifelong. And can you just tell us your first and last name? I just want to make sure we get it right. You might spell it for us. I'm sorry.
Janelle Roy.
Okay, and Janelle, how do you spell your first name?
J-A-N-E-L.
And spell your last name?
Roy, R-O-Y.
Awesome. So you have known Brittany your whole life, is that right?
I have.
And how have you known her? Just so we all know.
We grew up together since high school. We've played sports together since high school. I laugh and I joke about it. I tell her that I'm the reason why she can shoot. You know, she came in and she couldn't shoot a ball to save her life when we went to school together. She blocked my shot a couple of times. Obviously, I didn't really have a chance in shooting over her, but we've done everything together. We've lost people together. We've won people together. We've had people try to even turn on us. And, you know, at one point, we had people trying to sit here and made us go against each other as if we were enemies. And we had to look completely past that and say, you know what, we know, what do people say? Sometimes blood is thicker than water, right? So we went past all that, and we've never let each other go since then. There hasn't been a day that I haven't talked to my sister since that day. Even coming over here today, you know, when my sister-in-law called me and we were having a conversation, I told her, I said, man, I went through our text message and it sucks. You know, February 17th at 1:55. That was the last text message I got from my sister, and I never heard from her again. You know, so it hurt, and I kept texting, and I'm like, are you okay? Are you okay? And I never got a response back until the attorneys called me and told me that she was actually arrested. So.
What are your expectations or hopes or fears for Friday?
Right now, I'm just putting everything in the grace of God. That's all I can do is pray and pray to God that God is with us and that God is watching over her. And that's all I can ask for right now is faith.
Any other questions?
Can you just say your first and last name? I'm sorry.
Tamika D. Mallory, that's Tamika D. Mallory, Mallory. And just to answer the question about what we expect to happen, understanding that the Russian courts have a 99% conviction rate tells us that it is a kangaroo court situation, and that is not promising. And we're hoping that in this situation, the 1% will prevail, in which they will decide that, again, as has been said by many, that Brittany Griner should not be used in any way in a political situation, and that she should be freed. She should be with her family. We want folks to know that Brittany Griner is not the one. She is somebody who should be home with her family. It's not good for either country to allow for this sister to sit there in a Russian prison.
Any word from the State Department? Any developments at all?
Well, we've heard that they are working behind the scenes, but again, as I mentioned to you, Sherelle, Brittany's wife, does not have any confidence in a system that was unable to get someone to answer the telephone after Brittany had not been able to use the phone for 4 months. And the first time that she called 11 times that day, trying to reach her family, and was unable to get through because our government forgot to have someone there on a Saturday. That's not promising. And so that's why we're here today, to make sure, because sometimes America needs reminders.
Yes, that's why we're reminded.
And we're reminding. We're here to remind. We understand the difficulties. I think sometimes what happens is that people believe that organizers and advocates don't understand political implications, that we don't understand the very severe nature of all the political tensions and what's happening at this time. We do understand, but we also know that there's always a back phone. There's always a phone in the background that can be used to work out things that are not necessarily on at the forefront. And we're asking that the back phone be used to free Brittany Griner.
Specifically, there have been prisoner swaps in the past. Is that what you're? I mean, that really has to be where your hopes are aligned.
Yeah, I mean, there has to be a negotiation, and there will have to be and what I want to say, that I hope I don't get in trouble for, but I think it's important to remind two men that have the power over and the agency over a woman's body, not to make this an ego battle, not to have this be something that they are stuck in, unwilling or unable to negotiate because of everything else that's happening. This is the type of situation that requires us to come together in love, in a spirit of unity. And I know that all governments are able to work together to deal with certain things that are not necessarily part of the major crisis that is happening at this time. Again, we want the back phone used for Brittany Griner.
May I say a word? Years ago, Reverend Jackson and I traveled the world, and governments responded, as you all know, by releasing prisoners. So I say to Putin, the Prime Minister of Russia, and to all of the leaders, do the kind thing. Do the compassionate thing. Let's forget the politics for a moment, and just let's remember that we're all human. And this, our sister, need to be home. So, President, you have an act, you have a chance to do what has already been set as precedent, to release this person just out of an act of kindness.
Any others?
I was just wondering, Ms. Wood, if you could spell your name again for those of us in the back. Could you spell your name again?
Mine?
Yes.
Janelle, Janell.
Okay, and W-O-O-D?
No, Roy, R-O-Y. Roy.
Oh, okay. Wow, I completely missed. Thank you.
Anyone else have anything to add? All right.
Let's conclude with our final prayer. Mr. Conley, will you give us our closing prayer?